Okay, we're back on the brackets to hold the bearings for the miter box, for the fret cutting box. Now, I was trying to make them out of metal. About 3 attempts with this to prototype it, all failed one way or another. So I've gone for another idea, which is to make them out of little blocks of wood. So just check. I've actually made one as a prototype, so we'll use that as the basis. But I need a little block, so we'll cut that first. And this was probably the simplest way to do it in the first place, but similar to what we were going to do before, which I think I tried to explain on the other video, but we're going to put bearings either side of there that can then run on the edge of the saw, okay, with a bolt through. So I've done the measurements on that. We want that, if I remember rightly, the bearings are 22 mil and 8 mil through the middle, so I need an 8 mil hole, so I'm going to make it 10 mil from the edge. That will just give me about a millimetre of bearing clear, which is about the most I can get away with. And if it's put in the centre, it won't catch on this, on the body itself, so we can put it in the centre. Which is 25 mil, so call it 12.5. So that's that one. So that's a hole going through that way. Now we want 2 holes going through this way to place it on the, to bolt it on and be able to adjust it. Now we're going to drill these slightly oversized for what they need to be, but again we need a centre line. It's 24 that way, so 12, 12, okay, and on the prototype one I did it 10.25 from that end, so it's all the way through that way, so we want 10 and 25. So we're just going to drill them through now. So the bolts going through here are 6 mil. I'm drilling the holes at 7, which will give me about a millimetre play to adjust the saw. I can always make them a little bit bigger, but I'll go small first. Mil for the hole for the one that's carrying the bearings. So we need a bolt, and that just clamps on the middle there. I'm a bit worried about the bolt. There's sort of the bearing rubbing on here, so we're putting a washer on next so that it holds off the actual wood. Ow. Then a washer, a bearing, and a nut. I'll either cut these bolts down or get some shorter ones. It might be just easy to get some shorter ones. So that's all tight. That's Allen tight at the moment, but it's pretty tight. They still run okay, and then they'll go on the edge of the block like that, and the blade will actually run on that. So the next stage is to make the rest of these, and then we can bolt them onto there. But as they're all made exactly the same, I'm not going to video all of them. You just need to see one. Okay, so we've got 4 bearing sets now, and it's time to work out how to put this together. So we'll work on one side first. I'll actually march one up, so that one will go there. So putting the saw through into its slot, it kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but it will squeeze the saw either side so as it will run on those bearings. So we need to now connect these to the box, and the way I'm using that is using threaded inserts that go into there, and we'll epoxy them in. So I think I've marked the first ones out okay, so we'll start drilling them. Let's wind one of these into here and just check that the depth's all right. It's pulling up. Okay, let's take that out again. It's not going to tighten down, they're going to be too long as well. Okay, well let's drill these holes and then start getting these in. I'm going to cut the threads in each because they seem to be swelling up a little bit first. It's pushing up the MDF a little bit, which I'll sand down and it should sit better. Why are you going over all the time? Okay, let's see if we can get some of these properly in. I think we'll do these in 2 sets, once on. I didn't want that. They seem too close together. Okay. One makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, there's some movement there, not much back and forth. Might have to widen some of these holes out. I think that'll be it for today. We'll let that dry and see if I can sort that problem out there tomorrow or later. Okay, after I finished yesterday, I went to the house, sat down and had a cup of coffee, and I thought, why was the MDF coming up so much around the screw? Had I got the wrong size drill or something like that? So I came out, I thought, then it occurred to me, really what I should have done is tested on another bit of MDF. So I came back out, found a scrap piece of MDF. I don't know if you can see this, but that's where that's the 8mm hole I drilled yesterday in them to fit them in. You can see it's come up like that. So I tried an 8.2, came up 8.4, 8.6, 8.7, 8.8, and it's gone in perfectly. So I forgot to bring the camera out with me, but what I then did is, on the other side that we hadn't done, I re-drilled the holes at 8.8, put them in without epoxy, and they seem to be fine. And I've done some tests on them. Came to do the same on that one. That one's okay, but this one, the one I said that we drilled yesterday, I said that looks too close. It was too close. So all these have been re-drilled 8.8mm, and rather than 10mm deep, I've done them 12mm deep, which gives a bit more clearance for the screw to go through them, and it's not too long. What I then did was, that hole there I filled with MDF, circles of MDF I made, basically plugs like this. They're all glued in, and I left that set overnight. So I'm going to re-drill the hole. So that's number 3. I need that's 4. I need number 3. That's number 3. And a screw. So if we put that into there, now I've re-drilled these at, I think I've re-drilled these at 8. Yeah. So what I also did is these were drilled at 7, not enough clearance to move them, so I re-drilled them at 8, and I've also made them oval with a rasp. So if we just put that one in there, sort of like that, and then I start this hole off that's 8mm, but I wanted 8.8. Okay, so we should be able to put that into there now. It's not perfect, but so it's a bit of where I've glued it come up, but that seems solid enough. So I now need to, where's that number 3? Put them in there. There's a bit of movement, but not huge amounts. But number 2, that's 4, so that should be number 3. It's number 3. Okay. 4, 4. They're loosely at the moment. Oops. Now, what I basically want to do is push that. Ooh, cut myself on the saw. Tighten it all up and see how square it is. And then we can adjust it. there's not touching. So what I'm going to be doing now is just tweaking some of these holes to elongate them to allow me to a bit more adjustment. I think we'll turn you off for a few minutes. Okay, I've adjusted it. There's a lot of faffing around with these blocks to get them to align, but I don't know if you can see, but that blade is square vertical and it's very difficult to measure, and square that way. It's not the easiest thing to adjust, and my battery's running low on the camera, so it took a while, but it runs now in the bearings, and the depth set is controlled by these things. So that's really it complete. The next thing will be to actually test it on something. Through there, and we're going to go. Down, not there. So if you can see that it's cut down to a certain depth, very narrow cut, and like a bit. If you can see that it's perfectly square. I think I'm going to be a bit careful with it on the bottom bearings, but apart from that, I think that will do exactly what I need. Very narrow cut for these, but yeah, I think I'm happy with that, and it'll do what I need. It's taken me longer than I thought it would. The bearings have been the main problem, but it's better than trying to run in that slot, which is actually a little bit wider, and cutting that accurately is a real issue. So I think that's it.